Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Michael Maney begins now.
Good evening. The federal opposition leader has demanded Anthony Albanese tell his Environment Minister to stop playing games over salmon farming in Macquarie Harbour. Peter Dutton spent the day on the West Coast meeting with members of the industry. He's also thrown his support behind the state government's plans for Macquarie Point.
A morning cruise on Macquarie Harbour for the man looking to reel in Anthony Albanese. Peter Dutton visited the West Coast, also meeting workers from the salmon industry, vowing to back them and their jobs.
We have the utmost respect for an industry which is at world's best practice. It's sustainable.
The weather matching the mood of many locals. Salmon farming in Macquarie Harbour is under review over concerns about the impact on the environment, particularly the Maugean skate. Criticised by the industry for creating uncertainty, both Mr Dutton and the Premier turned up the heat on Federal Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek.
If there is a political process underway by Tanya Plibersek, it needs to come to an end.
The Prime Minister has a problem with the Environment Minister.
Also casting doubt on the Prime Minister's support for salmon farming during a visit earlier this month.
I just think the Prime Minister was being dishonest with the people of Tasmania.
Saying is one thing and doing is another.
Local Labor figures jumped to their defence.
He doesn't need to come here and stir up division though. He should be working to support those workers.
We're dealing with the same laws that Peter Dutton dealt with when he was in government. It's John Howard's law.
Mr Dutton also wading in on the state's other big topic, backing the Macquarie Point Stadium project.
He's made tough decisions that are in the best interests of the state. I support many of the projects that he's had the initiative to get underway.
With both major parties supporting it at a federal level, state Labor is now alone in its opposition. Rebecca White, however, isn't changing course, criticising the visiting Liberal leader.
I don't reckon that Peter Dutton's even found where Macquarie Point is on a map. So I'm not sure why he'd be so supportive of a stadium there. He's at Macquarie Harbour today. Maybe he got his geography mixed up.
She also took aim at Mr Dutton's former colleague, with Erica Betts all but certain to be on the ballot at the next state election. She questioned whether he is the right person.
They aren't views that are inclusive. They don't reflect the diversity of our community. They're not about a modern Tasmania.
I'm proud of our team, of our endorsed candidates to date.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Peter Dutton is also facing pressure to be upfront with Tasmanians on whether he will back or block Labor's Stage 3 tax revamp. Franklin MP Julie Collins claims new research shows 90% of Tasmanians will be better off under the federal government's revamp. She says the opposition leader needs to be clear with workers.
I think Tasmanian workers in Tasmania today, with Peter Dutton here, need to be told the truth by Peter Dutton about what are the Liberal Party's plans.
Has the Prime Minister broken a promise faithfully given to the Australian people? Of course he has. But he doesn't even have the strength of character now to stand up and apologise.
Mr Dutton also reiterated his call for the Prime Minister to take the changes to an early election. The Azamari Journey cruise ship carrying more than 1,000 people will no longer dock in Hobart this Friday. Instead, the vessel will continue straight to Sydney due to industrial action by marine pilots demanding better pay and refuting an electric vehicle policy. Tasport CEO says it's a terrible blow for Tasmanian small businesses, and he's calling on the Australian Maritime Officers Union to return to the negotiating table. A man in his 30s has been rushed to a Melbourne hospital in a serious condition after falling while climbing on a cliff on Bruny Island overnight. The rescue helicopter was also involved in the rescue of a group of stranded bushwalkers earlier today. Rising water levels had stranded them at Lake Rona in the Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park yesterday afternoon. The chopper located the group just before 8:30 this morning and was able to land safely and retrieve the group. Tasmania Police is encouraging all bushwalkers to pack the right equipment, supplies and clothing before setting out. Tasmanians struggling with university costs are set to benefit if state Labor gets into power at the next election. The party has promised to provide 500 extra scholarships of up to $5,000. It says the boost would help more applicants from rural areas pay for rent, transport and study
My degree
materials.
was 5 years, so I was given $25,000 across the course from the university. It was a major help because it meant that I wasn't relying on casual or part-time work.
The University of Tasmania has about 1,000 applicants a year who decide not to attend university because they can't afford to go. This is a real shame. That means a lot of students across Tasmania are missing out on pursuing a higher education.
Education Minister Roger Yench says Labor is plagiarising existing policies, assuring students the government already has incentives in play to support their studies. Dozens of Tasmanians saddled up this weekend for the Show Horse of the Year State Championship. Riders as young as 6 competing for the chance to make it onto the national stage.
Primed to impress, around 70 horses and their riders taking the floor at the Show Horse of the Year State Championship.
And they pick the classes that suit their level and their size of their horse. We have ponies, show ponies, open ponies, hunter ponies, Galloways, show horses.
The herd assessed by 4 interstate experts, straying from the age-old rule, never judge a book by its cover.
What you feed the horse comes out in their coat and their skin and the work, good muscle tone.
How the horse performs in the arena, just as vital.
How the horse moves, quality in walk, trot and canter. Some workouts have got length and trot or length and canter, and then comes down to type, the conformation of the horse, you know, straightness with their legs.
They'll spend hours and hours of riding, practice, feeding their horses, getting them shod.
Running to Equestrian Australia's standards, officials weren't horsing around when it came to the rules.
We've also had swabbing, where we have stewards come in, just like racing.
Participants top of their class qualifying for nationals in Sydney at the end of the year. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Central Coast Council will host a community walk next month to raise funds for research into childhood mental health issues. The Lift the Lid walk will start at the Ulverston Rowing Club before continuing to Picnic Point and aims to break down barriers associated with mental health.
Mental health affects many small communities throughout Australia. Ulverston is no different to anywhere else, but the Central Coast Council remains determined to battle the problem head on.
Whether it's in the workforce or whether it's in family situations or in sporting clubs, it's really front of mind for us here at Central Coast, so we're so pleased to be supporting the event.
Rotary Club of Ulverston West is hosting the inaugural Lift the Lid walk on February 18th, aimed at breaking down the barriers and stigma associated with mental health. While the walks have been held across the country for several years, it's the first event of its kind for Tasmania's Central Coast. Ulverston West Rotary on the forefront of mental health awareness, partnering with National Rotary Health to focus on groundbreaking research into the mental health of young children.
So as a result of that, we are undertaking research in this 0 to 12-year age group, hoping to identify the problems at that early age and then having suitable courses to provide assistance and treatment and prevention of mental health in later years.
Last year's walks across the country raised $123,000 for Australian Rotary's mental health research. Central Coast Council and Rotary encouraging everyone to participate in February's walk to help exceed that figure.
There's evidence that early intervention in mental health issues in young people will alleviate it in later years.
A good reason for a variety of community groups to get involved. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Lachlan Brooks' first half goal was enough for Western Sydney to leave Hobart with a win over Western United. The Wanderers holding on for the 3 points as they look to consolidate their place in the top 6. But it wasn't easy, playing the last 25 minutes with 10 men after Aidan Simmons was sent off for a lunging tackle.
That's brilliant defending as we see Milanovic, and we know how dangerous he is when he drives at opposition defences.
And his home nation Brazil, a crunching challenge from Aidan Simmons that time. And Kane Vidmar in a lot of pain. A straight red card for Aidan Simmons.
Tasmanians showed their support with nearly 4,000 fans showing up at North Hobart Oval for the match.
Good evening today. Hobart 26, Launceston and Burnie both 24, Devonport 22. Westerly winds persisted today, driving showers about parts of the west and far south with fine conditions elsewhere. A very lovely 28 degrees in St Helens, Bushy Park 27, Mariah Island 26, Friendly Beaches and Grove 25, Wynyard 24, Flinders Island 22, King Island 21, Strawn 20 and a little warmer in Laiweni today with 19 degrees. Today we saw cloudy conditions towards the west and extensive mountainous cloud continues over the rest of Tasmania. An onshore flow is driving cloud about parts of Tasmania and the New South Wales coast. Cloud is also evident in areas over Queensland and the top end, containing embedded thunderstorms. Tomorrow shows a cold front passing over the state with a high pressure system moving into the Tasman Sea. West to northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, much the same across inland lakes. Winds becoming south to southwesterly in the afternoon and evening. West to southwesterly swells building up to 3.5 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued tomorrow for coastal waters between east of Flinders Island to Sandy Cape. Now, as many of us head back to the office after a long weekend, Hobart expecting partly cloudy conditions, 25 showers likely for Dover and Ouse with 24. Launceston partly cloudy 27, much the same for Devonport 25. Possible showers in Scottsdale with 23. Grey skies for Burnie and Stanley 23, a shower or two in store for Strawn 21. St Helens partial cloud 27, Swansea is the place to be tomorrow with a fine and sunny 28 degrees, 28 also for Ross with partly cloudy skies. Forecast for Tuesday, showers developing about the west late in the afternoon, mainly fine elsewhere. Wednesday, showers about the west and far south easing in the afternoon, apart from possible afternoon showers about the northeast. Thursday, a very first day of February, believe it or not, showers about the west extending to the south in the afternoon. We'll take a look now to the forecast for mainland capital cities tomorrow. Fine and sunny in Melbourne 28, sunny also for Adelaide 30 degrees, 30 also for Darwin with showers and a possible storm. Storms also for Brisbane 29, Sydney 29 and partly cloudy. And right now in Hobart it's partly cloudy with 23 degrees, also 23 but sunny in the north in Launceston, mostly sunny also in Devonport with 22. Michael, and like all good things, long weekends unfortunately must come to an end.
They certainly do, Kaya. Thanks for that, and let's hope everyone drives home safely. That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.